one has touched it. It's just a plot of land that somebody inherited.
Yeah.
And now the community is thinking of doing this community garden. What advice would you give for that? Like what would you do to the soil and what type of plants? Maybe we can ask our
Yeah,
expert
I think-
gardener here
yeah.
what type of plants. And then to this lady, I wanted to know, I think the problem with eating a lot of vegetables is that a lot of vegetables are encased in plastic. And I find myself, you go to buy cucumbers and you have to buy cucumbers encased in this plastic container. And I have a friend that doesn't know how to cook, right? She's trying to lose weight. So she's going out and buying these pre-prepared salads in a great big thick plastic container. So like, in one way we are
I think
helping.
that all food is packaged, though. I mean, like, even if you go and you're buying meat, it comes in a plastic, it comes covered in plastic.
Unless you ask for it in paper, which
I guess you could do that, but I don't think most people are.
You can do that for vegetables too.
Yeah.
And farmers markets, I think, are helpful because then, at least in the
Yes.
summer, we can direct ourselves away from packaging. But yeah, it's a big problem, just the packaging in general.
Yeah, I really feel that the government is, or, we always blame the government,
Yeah.
right? But who else we go to? Something has to be done about the amount of plastic.
Right,
And
yeah.
the packaging of our food.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because what's the
Agreed.
sense, we do a little bit here to help the environment, and then meanwhile, there's a big wall up to the environment on the other side.
Yeah.
So, but I don't hear anybody ever talking about it, so maybe you could all sit together and advocate for it. And that would be the logical thing.
Yeah, and I think there are some groups that are doing that too, the zero waste stores and things like that are available, and like Andrea said, farmers markets, but yes, you're right, I mean, it does need to be something that is, more broadly out in, the media, or that we should be talking about and trying to do something about.
And that would be a great topic for a seminar.
Yes,
If you could find people that, are thinking about this and coming up with ideas to share this knowledge
sure.
and start advocating. I would think that you people would be the best ones.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't let the plastic determine whether you should eat vegetables or more vegetables. Because the plastic, it probably is an impact on the environment, but eating those vegetables instead of animal products is a much better way of getting nutrients at still a more carbon footprint than it would be having an animal product without plastic. So that's the thing. Don't let that scare you.
You're not gonna get it without plastic.
That's right. So you
Why do you try to buy
Yeah, I have a question,
without
and-
any packaging?
And I come from King where we have some pretty awesome biome.
Okay, so Anne,
Even if
and,
it's the,
excuse me, what's that?
Yep.
Anne, and then Mark,
So
and
it's Anne
then
Brennan from
yourself.
King Township. May I speak with each of you? We'd love to have you over at King. In the summer, in the winter, we talk with our farmers, and we've been
So
working a lot.
Anne is Climate Action King.
Yeah.
So,
Climate Action
we have a York
Okay,
region.
great.
And
Sorry.
Jane and 17th, just north of Lloydtown, is Round Bend Farm.
Yes.
But where I shop, they don't wrap the plastic. I don't buy my mushrooms from the one place that does. I buy them in the different store.
Well, how do they present them to
Is it
you?
natural? I think it's pretty
It
good.
depends on
Where
where
you
you
just,
go.
they're just, lay out, come in crate, and they lay the
Field
fields
voucher.
Yeah.
But,
Paper bags.
yeah, just wanted to know if
Yeah.
we can get these, that's what, before you go.
Well, I'll give you their connections, Anne.
Pardon?
I'll give you your connections, and then you
Okay,
can always
great.
raise.
That's
And you could also, I'll be at the back, so you can talk. I'd like to do that, because it's part of this project we're doing, that would fit right in.
But I think we have different meetings with all of you, each of you, just because the farmers are tough to get
Yeah.
off the farm.
I know.
And our farmers tell, most of them, of this non-tilling, the tilling that, you see is what breaks up the fungus that we said. So, problem is, I just gotta point this out, that our farmers, just not in King, but in the Greenbelt, don't own the land, most of them. Developers have bought it from someone retired, the family didn't inherit, they don't care two hoots about the quality of the soil. And in the marsh, we have such big rains that washes the topsoil off. Only a few farms that owned their farm invested in tiles. And the other ones are stuck with their topsoil they worked so hard to build up being washed away. So that's a big problem. Speculation in the green belt, whether they're gonna ever get to build houses on the rocks, has this damage. That's what I would like to have said. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, and then this is young man.
Comments on the starting the garden?
Sure. I mean, a lot of it depends on what's there now. And, because when I say don't disturb the soil, there's one argument that says that if you're going to start up a garden on something, it's a good idea to break the soil up because it's probably very compact. Now, but that's something you can test, all right? Or you take a coat hanger or something, you push it down, and you can hardly get it down in the soil, or even just a spade. A spade will hardly go down into the soil. It's probably pretty compact, in which case, breaking it up at the beginning, adding compost and things like that in, and then not disturbing it after that going forward. Because it'll only take a couple of years for the organisms to get themselves back again, all right? So that, I would say, depends on, if the soil's already fairly good, you know, you're able to dig it in very easily, then you can just start by adding compost and using mulches and,
Build on top.
yeah, or you can build it up, just as Debbie's talking about.
You can use a garden fork also to aerate it,
Yeah.
if it's slightly compacted, because the aeration will just help
Yeah.
it get down deeper and spread further quicker.
Yeah, you spread it in and just wiggle it a little bit.
Okay, and how about introducing worms?
Well,
Could you add worms to,
No.
is that
There-
an idea?
there's a difference between composting worms and the worms that you find in your garden. They're different species. Yeah. The worms in the garden are burrowing worms, so they go down deep, that's how they survive the winter, they go down deep. They'll come out at night in the summertime and they pull leaves down and stuff like that. And they're great, but they'll come if your soil's healthy. The healthier your soil gets, the more worms you'll have. As a matter of fact, it's a measure of your soil. I take one spade of soil, putting it on a, like just put the spade down, 4 spots, take a cube out, put it on a piece of plastic, spread it out and count the worms. If you've got 5 or 6 worms or more, your soil's not doing too bad. If you hardly find any, your soil's not.
Okay, Mark, have her hand up.
I just want to give 2 things. First thing, we have plug to the Village Market at Bathurst and Rutherford. They, no plastic there, they charge you for using a plastic bag. And they have good local organic vegetables, up until the end of December. So it's here and we have those options, but talking about options, like I am concerned about this whole idea, we need to push eating locally and eating seasonally. We should not be eating strawberries from California, you don't eat strawberries when you live here, that's it. So,
Every time at the market, every Sunday, strawberries until they're gone.
yeah, exactly, you eat strawberries and
And that's our health best market.
so we, anyways, but my question, like one of the concern I have is really having an awareness of, there are certain plants, like almonds, like avocados, that require a lot of water. And we really should be eating something, like, the pictures of avocados and almonds, maybe we shouldn't be eating those. We don't need to eat those. So to me, having a plant-based diet needs a little more work than just say, I'm gonna eat plants. We have to do better than that. So that's what I want to say, is I really do feel like you need to, put that in the equation.
I think you're right. There's lots of different things to think about. So avocados is all that social justice aspect of it. So I don't eat avocado for those reasons. When it comes to almonds, it depends where they're made. So you can choose.
Most of them here are from California. And
Indeed. So you can try and avoid those, and that's part of your advocacy, and that's great. If we look at almond milk compared to dairy milk, because some people talk about how that's why they're not going to have almond milk, they're going to have dairy milk. But actually, when you compare the almond milk to dairy milk, you're still using way less water than you are for dairy milk. So it depends what you're comparing and what's important to you. And of course, you know, for example, chocolate, for example, there's loads of social justice issues about that. It's a plant-based food, but, you know, we're going to look to see where it comes from. So absolutely, I'm 100% with you. It's not just all or nothing. We have to think about all aspects. I agree.
You had a question.
Oh, no, it was just to do with packaging.
Oh.
So it's not really a question.
Somebody make your point and do your quick.
Like, because the packaging is not intrinsically connected to the foods themselves. It's better to take the one step forward even while you're dragging your foot to the other side. And then get things moving to the packaging side as we're going.
Yeah, well said.
I was just gonna ask Zara's, when you cited the point where you said some of the food could be flown 3 times around the planet
Yeah.
and still have a lower carbon footprint
Yeah.
than buying locally, what was that point? I'm sorry, I think it addresses that
So-
biggest question.
Yeah, so that was very specifically about the carbon footprint. Growing locally, buying locally, being in season is so important for food sovereignty, for food security, for all those things. So it's really important, but I was just making a point specifically on the carbon footprint, which is one aspect, a big aspect.
Really, if you take all of that, there's so many layers of better that are possible.
Yes.
And every little step you take towards better,
Yes.
that's better.
right.
That's
So-
right. It's not either or.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Anne, another comment?
I just had a question.
Question? Question of who?
So the biome, the gut bacteria in our guts,
Yeah.
tells us what we want to eat.
Yeah.
So if you've been eating junk, you're going to crave junk. That's pretty much it. It's connected to the brain. Now, I'd like to know if there's any research happening where, because sometimes when babies are born from cesarean and they don't get the bacteria gut from the mom,
Yeah.
can we invent something where the easier way, because it does take, for my husband and I, when we went off meat or ate a whole lot less meat, it was a while, right? Anyone here knows it takes a while before your tongue comes alive for the flavors. You crave the vegetables and the grains, and you don't want the meat. In fact, it even feels wrong to chew it. So I was wondering if there's any research being done on taking that gut bacteria, a very varied amount of also variety of stuff, and helping us import it into our stomachs faster. That's what I was wondering.
Or is there a Kickstarter or a cheat?
Yes.
Yourself
Is there such a
faster,
thing?
right?
Could it be possible?
I think there's fecal transplants out
Glad you said that. I was
Sam?
just trying to think how to actually.
But
Well, I'm asking the expert right here.
I'm the expert.
Yeah. That's to help people move towards eating more plants. But yes, to your question, the microbiome is such a big area of research. It's really, in the last 15 years, it's like burgeoned exponentially because we have the methodology now to look at the communities of bugs in our gut. We have communities of guts all around our body. The most well studied is the large bowel, the colon microbiome, and it affects everything. And when we look at different diseases, we see that there is dysfunctional microbiome in those diseases. And you're looking at a healthy gut being one that has lots of diversity of bacteria, that has lots of the fiber-loving bacteria. And these bugs, the good bugs, they love the plant foods. And they take the plant foods and they do their thing, and they put out into our body all these anti-inflammatory compounds, which help our brain, they help everything. And we see, there have been loads of studies looking at this. So you look at the gut bugs of vegans and vegetarians and omnivores, and the vegans have the better, more diverse ones, gut microbiome, staff, very medical. And we also, your second question is how quickly can we change it? So there was a study done looking at this, and it showed that in 2 weeks you can completely flip your microbiome. Wow. So they looked, this is one of my favorite studies, and I put it in all my cancer talks actually. So they looked at 20 people from North America, and they compared them to 20 people from South Africa. So there was the Western diet, and then the South African diet, which is
Fiber.
loads of fiber, loads of plant foods. And they did colonoscopies, they looked at their stool samples, they looked at their blood, they looked at all these compounds, and they did it at baseline, then they switched their diet, and 2 weeks later, just 2 weeks later, when they did everything again, everything had switched. It was better gut biodiversity, more anti-inflammatory compounds in the blood and the stool, and better bugs. It was amazing. So 2 weeks just by eating plant foods. We don't need fecal transplants. We don't need probiotics off the shelf. We just need to eat a very varied plant-based diet. And the American Gut Project, which is one of the biggest studies on the microbiome, says to get your best microbiome, you need 30 different plant foods per week, which includes herbs and spices, and not unachievable.
Isn't it what you don't eat as well as what you do eat that really achieves that? Like, it's the idea that no processed food, so it's, again, it's eating, even if you ate 30 foods a week, 30 vegetables.
Whole plant foods.
But if you ate 30 bags of potato chips and all the other crap at the same time, you wouldn't achieve it. So it's not just eating those 30, it's not eating the other 30.
It's when we're talking about eating the 30 foods, it's your 30 whole plant foods.
Yes, but you must not eat the other things as well.
So you can eat a little bit of the bad stuff. If your diet pattern is in general good, what you do at the edges, I think, doesn't really matter so much. So if the bulk of your food is from whole plant foods, all the things I said, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, what the little bits you do at the edges, I don't think matters.
Sarah, would you say that 80-20 rule applies
Yes,
to that?
I love the 80-20 rule, yes. We don't have to be perfect.
We all need perfect. You have another question?
Yes, the idea of having all these vegetables, and then in the winter time, of course, we have to import from, like I was having some mandarins, South Africa, oranges, South Africa, lemons, South Africa, and, California, other places, Costa Rica. The Oak Ridges moraine is, and our area here in southern Ontario has the richest soil in all of Canada. I did some research on that, and I presented to Richmond Hill Council about that, how important our soil is. And we have the Oak Ridges moraine, which is under attack. I don't know if it's under attack, but the government wants to open up government land. So I really feel that we should designate the Oak Ridges moraine as a national park. So, okay, so we've got the idea of this soil on the Oak Ridges moraine, which is used for agriculture by some people, but it's being used for other things as well. Why not put a plan together to use the land to come up with ways of greenhouse farming of different types, like you say, strawberries, cherries, all these different, everybody's buying berries, why not use the land and come up with a project for the government to designate lands on the Oak Ridges moraine for this purpose, and research to go into how we can cultivate these types of crops, so we don't have to import it. And then we have all the diesel, you talked about transportation, the big trucks coming back. I mean, I went to Florida, and I saw these great big transport trucks going up and down the I-75 and the I-95. So that would eliminate a lot of the diesel and, the carbon emissions into the atmosphere. So, if we could only get it together and get a group together to go to the government and make these proposals. Because one person alone, I stand there, it's like blowing in the wind. You have to have a group of people that go to approach the government with the backing of, other people behind, like residents, and maybe something can be done for this. So, do you have any ideas on how this could be done? Like, maybe you could go.
That's okay. Why don't you come and talk to us at Climate Action Richmond Hill? We are in contact with councillors. That's really what we are trying to do. Our commission, the Climate Action Richmond Hill, is to reach out to the councillors in Richmond Hill, and then through Climate Action York Region, which Ann heads up, and she also heads up the King smaller group, and then we've got a Newmarket Aurora group, and so that's who we need to talk to. These wonderful experts in their field are not necessarily the connect, for to say it that way, but we are connected to the politicians. We have to lobby the politicians to get certain things done. That's how when plant-based treaty, and all the wonderful people who are there at council lobby council to have Richmond Hill become a plant-based treaty supported community. So we've done those kind of things, and that's what our goal and our mission is.
And use these wonderful people as resources.
Well, they are our resources.
Yeah.
That's why we have to figure it out.
When you go to Richmond Hill, right, just use their names, it's, you know.
It's about numbers of people.
Okay, I think we're gonna, want still people to be able to see the displays, so we have a couple of other things. And we've got